Welcome back to Honestly the podcast show. I am your host Joel Ramsey. Thank you for tuning in once again to episode number whatever episode number it is at the bottom in the title, you know. Yeah, that's the episode number. Thank you for tuning in again for another episode where we go off script from what we had intended to do. There are two episodes that we have planned to do, but we still haven't gotten around to doing them. And the reason for that one this week is because I found this personality testing site. I saw one from last week and I did the test already. They weren't going to show me my full results. I tried to pay for it, but my card declined. Not sure why, probably just a scam website, not sure. I won't call the name, but I then left the tab open, and then I think today I opened it back, realized that I have an interest in finding out my personality type. And so I found a next website called 16personalities.com. Really creative looking site, really engaging looking site, really artistic site. And I think that's what pulled me there. But yeah, it's really a really nice website. And so I did my test and realized that probably being at this season is about getting to know me, different things about me before we get into what I believe, what my views are on the things that I believe, and before we start talking to guests about what they believe or why they believe what they believe. I said, all right, let me do that one. It seemed interesting. I did the test already, and I got back my information, so I'm going to go through that with you today. I'm going to first go through the process of getting your results, and also breaking down the test itself for me, and hopefully you will go out and do your own test, see the type of person that you are and what you can improve on. They give you free advice, and then there are also some paid sections if you want to go further in learning how to understand yourself a bit more. So that's what we'll be discussing in today's episode, and I hope you'll enjoy it. All right, so welcome back to the show. I'm going to bring up the screen beside me so that you can follow the website closely. All right, so we have on the screen now the 16personalitytests.com website. And so to just give you an overview of the website, once you go on it, once you type in the site, you can just easily go to take the test right up at the top. So you click that, and then you will get some questions to answer. And just for the sake of time, I'm going to run through these. These won't be my actual answers, just for the sake of the video. I already did my test before, as I said. So, yeah. All right, so we completed this test, and it's a sham test. Don't worry, sham test. This result does not represent me in any way, shape, or form, but no discrimination to that, whoever a defender is. So, you will be given a breakdown of your personality type, starting first with what personality type you are. And in this case, it recorded it as a defender, the ISFJ-T. Not quite sure what that means, but as you move forward, you will get an idea of that personality type. So defenders are very dedicated and warm protectors, always ready to defend their loved ones. And the mind is 58% introverted, based on how they answer that question. And introverted individuals tend to prefer fewer yet deep and meaningful social interactions and often feel drawn to calmer environments. All right, so 58% introverted, 69% observant, 59% feelings. So them all in them feels, only 59% though. The 53% judgy, like yeah, 59%. 53% turbulent, unsteady, chaotic, erratic. Then after that, after you go through that process, you can put in your email address, and then you can also select to send Defender tips about that personality type, and then you click send. It will send off the results to your email address, and then bam, you'll get the results. So I'll now go to my results and give you and then give you an overview of what I got for myself. Now, before I go into mine, I have to say that this was a really nice experience. It was pretty cool to see something break down your personality close to the T of who you feel you are. I think they got probably one aspect of me wrong, but it was really cool to see the analysis of based on just questions that you answered. And some of the questions you just answer them like, possibly or neutral. It was really cool to get a reading of who you are. Really creepy, really interesting though, and I really enjoyed it. I saved it primarily so that I could give you this video. Yeah, not that like you care what type of person I am, but I thought it would kind of interest you to kind of know more about yourself on a personal level. It also helps you to speak about yourself better, because sometimes you don't know what to say about yourself, but then you get the words from somebody else, and then you're like, yeah, that's so me. So hopefully this is what happens when we go through this process, and I hope you enjoy the show. Yeah. All right, so the first slide that I got, similar to the Defender slide, but I got a logician personality type, and that falls under the INTP-T personality. When I get further on, I will be better able to explain what that is, because I still don't remember what it is. I think it's like introverted personality, and the T stands for turbulent. So I'm a turbulent introvert or something like that. I remember. But logicians are innovative inventors with an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. If you watch episode 1, I tell you that that's the type of person I am. I like to seek out truth. So, them seem to have it correct, so far. My mind, they say, is 61% introverted. Introverted individuals tend to prefer fewer yet deep and meaningful social interactions and often feel drawn to calmer environments. And that's me. I like my own space. I like to be around people, but then I also like to control my space. So if I'm in a hectic environment, I find a section that I can control. I don't like to be around chaos. I can live in chaos and block it out, but I prefer my own space. So I think last week I went to pick up something, and I was with 2 friends, and it was high energy because it's females. And then at one point I just slumped back, and that was it. I just was finished. I couldn't do the high energy anymore. It wasn't a matter of not wanting to be there, nothing like that. It's just, all right, energy spend. Yeah, done. tap out, finish. Yeah, so yeah, that's me. Energy, let's say I'm 74% intuitive. And intuitive individuals are very imaginative, open-minded, and curious. They value originality and focus on hidden meanings and distant possibilities. And as you remember, I tell you that as like a conspiracy theorist at one point in time. That's probably why. I do remember being an introvert in the past. So for me, what this process kind of showed me was how fluid your personality can be based on your experiences. So, your personality can be one way because of how you were raised, and then how you get exposed, whether you're traumatized, whether you were hurt, whether positive things impacted you a certain way, however you chose to process, or however you were able to process certain things that happened to you, it then builds a persona for you. So I believe that over time, you shape your personality by how you choose to process experiences that you have. That's personally what I believe, especially based on knowing who I was before versus who I am now. And I know that the changes that I might eventually make as an individual might also move my personality a bit more. Because I don't think I'm an introvert. Like, I don't think I would want to be an introvert. I think there's something in me that wants to be extroverted. But I don't know if it was like my social skills weren't developed as extroverted in my teenage years. So because I never developed certain social skills, I kind of afraid to try to implement those social skills. And then how I probably process interactions with persons, I think that also play into my social skill development. Yes, so that's what I have to say for right now. Yeah, so let's move on. But just a reminder, I'm 74% intuitive. I think I'm more observant. I just see things. I see things, I understand certain things that I see, and I come to a conclusion just by seeing a particular behavior, because I also study body language, or I try to study body language and stuff like that, how you respond. There are a lot of times when I'm having conversations with people and I pick out something based on what I hear or based on what I see and how they're behaving. So I think I'm observant more than intuitive, me. But it's probably it should probably be a 50-50. But based on how I answered some of the questions, that led to 74% intuitive. I don't think I'm that much of an intuitive person. Although I would say I am creative, I am open-minded, and I am curious, but I definitely observant. Nature, 52% thinking for my nature. I think what led to 52% was because I answered some of the questions based on how I would want to view, or how my mindset is towards some of the questions that were being asked. Because I think I still have a lot of emotions tied into how I react to situations. I think I still a very emotional, feelings-based person. Although 48% is still a high number. But I think it was that high for thinking-wise because some of the questions, I answered them based on how I perceive the question and not necessarily how I would actually respond. So say for example, the question, I answered it with possibly yes, when the answer could have been neutral, because I would probably not or probably would. So that's why I guess it tipped over thinking wise, and the thinking is based on books that I'm reading now, responses that I want to have to situations, and how I'm viewing challenges or feelings that I'm going through, and reactions that I can have to situations that I am going through. My tactics, they say I have 64% prospecting. I don't know what that means, so let's read it. Prospecting individuals are very good at improvising and adapting to opportunities. They tend to be flexible nonconformists who value novelty above stability. That I do believe. I shared it with somebody and they said that they think that's so true. I don't believe that, none at all. I hate new things. I do well if things change. I love to know something because when I know it, I expect it to stay a particular way. And this is where like my feelings come into play. If something new happen and I never planned for it, by God, I go and feel like this is it, like what happening here, this shouldn't be happening, and then I go and get stressed out. So when I saw 64% prospecting, I was like, what? That's so much percent. And then I think I judge a lot. I think I come to judgment about a lot of stuff. I think I have opinions about stuff, and I think that based on how somebody does something, it's easy to make a judgment about where this person might end up or what possibly happened to this person. A lot of people that I talk to, and I'm not saying it's a good thing, but a lot of people that I talk to say that, what's the term that they might use? They tend to say that they tend to get a feeling of condemnation from it because I tend to ask them if they're doing this thing because this or because that. Mind you, I think they're using the wrong term. I think it's judgment they're using when they're asking me the question. And I think people that say, for example, people that said don't judge, the Bible said don't judge. The Bible never said no such thing as don't judge. Every day you wake up, you judge something. You judge what you're going to eat, why you're going to eat it, what bus you're going to take, what car you're going to drive in, why you choose this car. Everybody have to make a judgment. So I think that is one thing that we use incorrectly a lot, the term judging. I think we misuse the term. And I think I should be like at least 50% judgy, because I like certainty. I value certainty above newness and above, whatever else they say right there. I value stability. Yeah, I don't like new things. I like to make things new for people. I like to be spontaneous for people, but for myself, I don't fancy it. So this one was the one that I thought was incorrect, but we'll move on. My identity, they said that I'm 74% turbulent versus 26% assertive. And I don't disagree. I think I'm learning to be assertive. I wish I had the definition for assertive. But for turbulent, they said turbulent individuals are self-conscious and sensitive to stress. That's me. I don't do well when I'm stressed out. Yeah, I don't do well with it at all. They said they feel a sense of urgency in their emotions and tend to be success-driven perfectionists and eager to improve. The perfectionist part, definitely me. And perfectionist don't mean that you're good enough. It don't mean that you're good at the thing that you're trying to perfect. It just means that you're a stickler for getting the thing to be exactly how you envision it. And that's me for sure, 100%. That's me. I'm working on it to not be a perfectionist, to just do what I'm able to do with the time allotted to me and with the effort that I can give and with the conditions that shape the environment that I'm in. I'm trying to, if it don't meet my standards, if I put in 100% effort, and if, the client's satisfied, if people satisfied, then I say, okay, I'll work with it. I won't be satisfied with it, but I try not to be so hard on myself nowadays. Obviously it feels, but we're working on it. We're conscious of it. We're self-conscious. Yeah? All right. So they said that I'm 74% turbulent. Yeah, so that was the overview that they gave for that section. And then I put in my email address, click everything, and then it sent me. Yeah, so after I put in my email address and stuff, it forwarded this to me. So basically it says the results of your personality test are in. Here they are. Personality type, I'm a logician, ENTP-T. My traits are introverted 61%, intuitive 74%, thinking 52%, prospecting 64%, turbulent 74%. My role is an analyst, and my strategy is constant improvement. And then they also give you a password, a temporary password that you can change. So yeah, that's what you get in your email. You click the link. And then it brings you to your page where you have your layout. So your personality types, it gives you the turbulent logician, which is what the INTP represent. And then you can click learn more. You can learn what your role is and your strategy. So I'll just run through that with you. So when you click the logician, they give you an introduction to your type, strengths and weaknesses, romantic relationships, friendships, parenthood, career path, workplace habits, and then they give you a conclusion. And going down the introduction section, the life of the mind, elementary, my dear logician, mysteries of the universe, and then you move on to strengths and weaknesses. So strengths and weaknesses of a logician. So a logician, they say, is analytical. Logicians analyze everything that they come across, from research data to behavior of the people around them. This gives them a knack for spotting unexpected patterns and connections that other personality types might overlook, which is why I thought I should be an observant person. Well, I guess that's analytic. They tend to be original. Thanks to their unrelenting imagination, logicians come up with creative, counterintuitive ideas that wouldn't occur to most people. Not all of these ideas are feasible, of course, but logicians' willingness to think outside the box can produce remarkable innovations. I don't know so much. I don't know if I'm a original person. I'm not sure. Open-minded. Logicians are driven by curiosity and an intense desire to learn everything that they can. People with this personality type tend to be receptive to new ideas and ways to do things, as long as those ideas are supported by sound reasoning. And I think that has been me since my 20s. The reasoning never so proper, but I think for the last 4 years, a greater focus has been geared towards understanding and knowing what reasoning is, how to reason, and how to apply reasoning skills to not your truth seeking. And so I think I have a better understanding of how to reason well, and so I will say that as long as those ideas are supported by sound reasoning, is a key trait for me, I think, or what I consider to be sound reasoning based on what I've been taught sound reasoning to be. They say they tend to be curious. These personalities are always casting about for new pursuits, hobbies, and areas of research. That's so me. Like into photography now, into video editing now, into what else? Into looking into singing as well as an option. Like I don't know. I just like to pick up stuff to the best of my knowledge. I like to dabble in stuff. And then I like to research. I like to look up political stuff. I like to look up religious stuff. I like to look up philosophical stuff. I like to read those type of topics and watch videos pertaining to those topics. One week they might be obsessed with geophysics, and then the next week they might lose themselves in videos about guitar building. When inspiration strikes, logicians go all in on their newfound interest, learning everything they can. Definitely true. At one point, I was all into cob houses. I don't know if you know what cob housing is. It's houses that you build out of sand, clay, and grass or straw. And I was all into that lifestyle. I think if nuclear war take place and the electric grid break down and I have to run to the mountains, I think I would know how to build a cob house. I wouldn't know how to do it. I'd have to get help, but I think that would be the lifestyle I would live. I looked into farming at one point in time. What's the type of farming? I think it's called permaculture. I looked into that. I used to be involved in natural plant-based healing teas and eating a certain way, eating alkaline foods and all of those stuff. It's into a whole heap of stuff. Yeah. So I know a little bit about a few things. So yeah, I definitely agree that I am quite curious. Objective. Logicians care about the truth rather than taking comfort in ideology or received ideas. They want to understand what's really going on beneath the surface of things. As a result, they can be relied upon to combat bias and misinformation, even when it isn't easy to do so, and they expect other people to be honest with them in return. Honesty is like my policy. I'm not going to say I like not dishonest about stuff when you don't want somebody to know, but if I like you and I want you to know about me, I'm going to tell you the dirty things about myself. It might take some time, but I will tell you, and in me telling you, I expect you to tell me something dirty about yourself so that I know that there is a sense of openness and vulnerability. Stuff like that, definitely me. So logicians' weaknesses, let's see, tend to be disconnected. Logicians can get lost in their own train of thought, even when they're with other people. When these personalities finally resurface with something to say, they may find that the conversation has moved on without them. This can cause them to feel disconnected from other people, especially in large social gatherings. Admore said this applied to the ideas that I might be looking into and the topics that I might be interested in. I might be so focused in those things that when I got to talk about them, people might not be aware of them, and so, or the majority of people might not be aware of them, and so I might look like a weird person to be talking about these viewpoints that I have. So insensitive is the next topic, or the next characteristic or weakness of the turbulent introvert. People with this personality type see rationality as the key to a better, happier world. At times, they may underestimate the importance of such irrational values as emotion, compassion, etiquette, and tradition. As a result, they may inadvertently come across as insensitive or unkind, even though their intentions are generally good. I think that definitely sums me up well, and I would say this comes into play mostly with women that I interact with, because I kind of focus on, if the thing makes sense, then why are you going to tell me how you feel about it? That was my view for quite some time. I was not considerate about your feelings on a particular topic. I thought that the truth mattered when discussing topics. with people, especially females. So if you would say, but I feel like this is whatever, I would think it to be, tell me what's the actual logic behind what you're doing. And I wouldn't necessarily say I would have done it in the most teachable way. I would have done it in a very red pill way, I think. So yeah, that I realize about myself, and I'd say again, for the past 3 years, I have become a bit more aware of that side of me, and so I would say I'm a little bit more sensitive. So if this was supposed to be percentage based, I was like 98% insensitive, and I chipped away 2% of that insensitivity. And so I'm 2% sensitive. But in actuality, I'm probably like 60% sensitive, because if you do the same thing to me that I do to you, I go and feel bad. It's just that I wouldn't necessarily think about that when it comes to me discussing a point, because, I thinking about the point and not about the communication aspect of a relationship. And while we're on the topic of whatever the topic was, I'd like you to turn your attention to this book. It was the first book I ever read about healing and development aside from the Bible. It is a Christian-based book, so feel free to read it if you're a Christian. And if you're a recovering red or blue pill person, this book is for you as well. It's from Dr. Henry Cloud. He has other books out there, such as Boundaries, and that teaches you how to have boundaries. I think it's self-explanatory. But yes, get yourself one of these books, read it, enjoy it, and let me know what you thought about it as well. If you ever decide to grab one, this is not a paid ad, as I said in episode 4 as well. And yeah, thank you for listening. So yeah, that's a definite flaw of mine, insensitivity. Yeah. The next one is dissatisfied. Logicians can't help but imagine how things could be better than they already are. These personalities are constantly on the lookout for problems to solve, topics to learn, and new ways to approach things. Taken too far, this mindset can become overwhelming, with logicians constantly trying to reinvent the wheel rather than reliably addressing their needs and responsibilities. I agree. I agree with that. I know right now I'm not the best person that I could be, not the best self that I could be based on what I know a self can be. And so especially if I'm in a relationship, I become even more hard on myself, because I know the self that I am is going to impact the person that I'm with. Yeah, dissatisfied definitely is something that goes with my persona. Impatient. Logicians take pride in their knowledge and in sharing their ideas. Definitely. I'm a chatterbox for the things that I know, and I like to share what I know. I don't like hearing my own voice. It's just that I like to share things that I know. When it comes to explaining their rationale, however, they aren't always patient. If their conversation partner doesn't follow along or seem sufficiently interested, logicians may give up with a dismissive never mind. I don't do this with people that are debating. The only time I ever behave like this in terms of impatient is in a relationship. I won't do it when I'm debating something, because I do expect people that are debating to get what I'm saying. I expect to have to clearly say what I'm saying, but then the challenge in relationship is that, in relationships, you expect the person that you're with to understand certain things about you over time. But then you also don't give them time to understand certain things about you. So you kind of just expect them to understand that this is what you believe after you say it one time or two times. So I become impatient. And then it also depends on the response I get to the points that I'm sharing. Because I'm very sensitive about the topics that I discuss. If I'm sharing something with you and you're like, what are you talking about? If you give me that and I'm sharing something with you that I really into, like, I'll get off. I'll be like, you think I'm some fool or something? So yeah, that's the impatient side to me. You won't see it if you know me on a friend level. On a friend level, I'll chat with you the whole day about my point, and I'll argue my point and let you argue your point. That's what I'll do. But once we're in a relationship, I get extremely sensitive and extremely sensitive is the only word, yeah. I get extremely sensitive. Perfectionistic. Logicians want to get things done, but their quest for perfection can get in the way. At times, these personalities may get so lost in analyzing various options that they never reach a decision. They may also give up on projects that don't match their ideal vision in their mind. I can't really give up on a lot of stuff, well, unless I'm doing freelance stuff. If I'm doing my paid job, can't give up on it. Yeah, it's a job. But that's where the stress take over, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is just too much for me. But if it's like freelance stuff, I remember I used to do a design website. I used to be on a design website called freelancer.com, and they had competitions. This is when I started that competition, and I'm like, I see the thing that I want in my head, but my skills won't allow me to do them. Skills won't benefit, my skills won't stand up to what's in my mind. And so once I start trying and I see like, all right, it's not going to work, I'm done. I give up, throw that out the window and go to a different competition. Yeah, so I definitely agree with that aspect of it for sure. And so we're moving on to romantic relationships. Let's see if anything that I say right here is what actually, if it is what they say in this section right here. Alright, so romantic relationships, and in the purple part we're reading that in their relationships, logicians can use their ingenuity to keep things fresh and come up with clever, unexpected ways to make their partners feel special. That's me. I'm like a super romantic guy. Like in my teenage years, I never had that many relationships. I probably had one. And so in order to understand women, what I used to do was watch a lot of chick flicks. Beta! Not purposely, but I just was intrigued by chick flicks. So romantic chick flicks. Flicks that deal with man and woman and what the woman want, blah blah blah. So I used to watch a lot of those. So in relationships, my brain able to go back to things that I saw, or I'm able to also read your personality, so I can say, okay, this is what you like. Let me try and do this, or because I listen to what you're saying when you're talking to me, then if I want to surprise you, if I want to, get you to smile, I tend to go like hard. And so I'll do stupid things when I'm interested in you. I'll go. So in a relationship before, I wouldn't go out on the road and buy fruits and then come back and eat them. I wouldn't usually do that. But in a particular relationship, as in, I would find myself thinking about, okay, what fruits I should get this person because they like fruits. Let me create a fruit bag so that when I see them, I give them this fruit bag. And I remember once I wrote a note down on the fruit bag. This was like, it was crazy. I wrote down the note and I gave the present to the person, and the person was like, "Oh, I did," and that was like nice to me. So yeah, it that's me. I would say that's definitely something that I agree with, for sure. Starting from the top, logicians unusual combination of traits often comes as a pleasant surprise to their romantic partners. People with this personality type may seem cerebral and reserved, but once they let their guard down, they have a playful, creative side as well. And that's me. I don't show a lot of people that side unless I'm in a relationship with them. As introverts, logicians appreciate alone time, but that doesn't mean that they don't crave companionship. Definitely true. For people with this personality type, the ideal romantic partner isn't just someone to pass the time with, but an equal who can challenge their ideas. Logicians want to spend their life in pursuit of learning and growth. They hope that the person they love will not just share this mission, but also actively encourage it. Yeah, that's a definitely true statement. I've gotten in arguments before about the fact that they're not interested in having the discussions, like political discussions or religious discussions, because people find those topics to be that people generally call those topics that you shouldn't discuss. And so and that outlook annoys me because I like discussing them. And so yeah, that's always been a challenge for me. Finding somebody that wants to argue politics, religion, philosophy, that kind of a thing. Finding a relationship that meets these standards isn't always easy for these personalities. Logicians may drag their feet when it comes to going out into the world and meeting new people. And even when they do have an interest in someone, it can take them a while to work up the will to risk rejection and ask that person out. Being the center of attention in an emotionally delicate situation isn't easy for anyone, but especially not for logicians. Yeah, I'd agree with that. And they talk about a genuine connection, and you can read it. If you pause the video, you can read it. I really want to read this. As a relationship progresses, logicians' daily needs prove simple. Gifts, surprises, complex social plans, and elaborate date nights are all fairly unimportant to them. Unfortunately, even if their partner does want these things, they may not even occur to logicians to plan them out. That's true. That's true. After a while, you get you want to go back into that space where, you're alright with just being at home. You're alright with just being at home, talking, and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'd agree with that. Because to go out, you have to interact with people and all sort of stuff. Just kind of too much. Navigating conflict. Few people love conflict, but logicians are especially prone to shutting down when emotional disagreements arise. If I'm in a relationship, I'll shut down. If I'm in a relationship, I'll shut down completely. If I feel like I'm being disrespected, I'll shut down. Rather than slowing down and really listening, they may use their powers of logic to try to prove their partner wrong. Yeah, I do that. That's something that I would do. Alternatively, they might offer easy logical solution, not wanting to delve into the messiness of deeper issues and feelings. Not true for me. I like to hash things out. I like to, at the end of the day, know what is the meaning behind this. The only time I want to avoid the messiness is if I don't want to go into my emotions and I don't want to go into why because I don't feel comfortable enough to disclose this with you. When it comes to conflict, logicians can be guilty of a certain willful ignorance. They may be tempted to set aside their partner's feeling and their own for far too long. Not really, not for me. As I say, I like to discuss issues. I like to do that. Irrationality of joy. Logicians tend to live in the world of thought. Romantic relationships can help break them out of their own mind, allowing them to express the fullness of joy and pleasure in the present moment. This experience can be transformational, revealing strengths, traits, and desires that logicians hadn't known lay within them. With their creative, vivid imagination, logicians can make for surprisingly enthusiastic and passionate partners capable of expanding their horizon in ways that serve their relationship without ever losing their sense of self. That's a lot of words. I don't know. That's just a lot of words for me. Friendships. I might skip over friendships. Choosy or selective. I don't care. What I tell people is I don't know. I'm not even getting. I'm not even getting into that because I'm not going to say I'm crazy. So, logician's intellectual style isn't for everyone, but that's okay. Most people with this personality type prefer to have a small circle of good friends. Yeah, I prefer to have a small circle of good friends. Logicians tend to believe that their greatest strengths lie in their mind, but the experience of friendship can help them realize that they have more to offer the world than their ideas, no matter how original or groundbreaking those ideas may be. I don't really think ideas are original. I think ideas come from somewhere, so it can never be original. So that's my opinion. That's just my opinion. But I do get the part where, friends help you to understand that, come out of your head, guy. You don't need to be up here all the time. So I do agree with that. Parenthood. I never read through the parenthood part, so I don't really know what it says. In parenting, as with many social roles, logicians face a robust but healthy challenge. At times, they may be baffled by their children's messy, irrational, and ever-changing but completely natural emotion. After all, children have yet to develop the sort of agency and logic that logicians take for granted. Still, parenthood can be extremely meaningful for logicians. With their curiosity and love of learning, parents with this personality type can find great joy in teaching their children about the world. Tolerant and open-minded logicians encourage their children to think independently, seek out new knowledge, and voice and defend their own opinions. I don't know if that's how I would be as a parent. I think I would tell them definitely what truth is, where truth come from. I'd give them the knowledge that I have and then help them to understand the knowledge that exists out there and how to interpret the knowledge that exists out there. I don't know how I would be. I'm not a parent. I do hope to be a parent. If it don't happen, I know I can be a parent to everybody in the world. But yeah, I don't know how I would actually raise a child. What I know though is that I was never, in my 20s, I was never prepared at all to be a parent. I dreaded being a parent in my 20s because I knew that I was messed up, and I knew if I had a kid, I'd just pass on all of that mess to my kid. So that was one of the highlights of my 20s. Not so much highlights because I should have sorted myself out. But one of the highlights was that I never had a child. As if I had a child, I'd have messed up that child. If you didn't know some of the things that I did believe in my 20s, I don't know. You'd have been shocked. I probably should have an episode where I talk about some of the things that I believed. Or show you a list of some of the things that I believe. I probably should. to thine own self be true. I heard somebody with this phrase once, and you know, since that day, you know, it was a part of the push to be a better person. Yeah, being honest with yourself, very important. Encourage you to always, if you're lying to people, I won't say you should lie to them, but when you're lying to them, know that you're lying to them. Accept that you're lying to them. Accept why you're lying to them as well. Be honest to yourself. You know, don't lie to yourself about why you're doing what you're doing. If you're scamming somebody out of them, if you like you're being disingenuine to somebody, tell yourself that you're being disingenuine. Be honest with yourself and don't pretend like you don't know that you're dysfunctional and whatever. Admit it to yourself, and then the change will take place if you're being honest. If you're not being honest, then you can't change if you're not being honest. Impossible, my opinion. Logicians have little interest in exerting control over others. They allow their children to form their own principles and opinions, though they may also share their own perspective and ideas just in case. You know how mad that is? You know how much ideas exist in the world in this century now for me to be... Logicians have little interest in exerting... That's madness. I want to control the hell out of my kids if I ever have kids. That's complete madness. I don't believe that. That's rubbish. That's complete rubbish. Complete rubbish. Yeah. I will never. Oh gosh. I would never let my child develop. You know how crazy that is to let your child develop their own perspective on life. That's like an idiot. That's like an idiot coming up with their own theory. That's madness. I think what the purpose of parenting is to download into your child the proper laws of the universe, the laws of logic, the laws of reasoning, all of those stuff, laws of physics. Download that into your child so that when they encounter stuff, they're able to combat the stuff that they encounter. Similar to what it said when it said that the logicians, what was it that they said? They said something to the extent that logicians want to, they said, what did they say? They said that logicians, I don't know. But if I find out, I'll put it, overlay it on the screen so that you know what I'm referring to. It's something about reasoning. I don't know. I don't know how they come up with this. This sounds like nonsense. But then again, I don't have a child, so I don't know how I would react if I have a child and still have this personality. It would be interesting to see after having the child, if I take this personality test again, what type of personality I would be after having a child. Because I think life events change you as a person. I definitely think so. Paradoxically, a stable home based on caring rules and parental validation can be exactly what logicians' children need in order to blossom into their unique, independent selves. That's true. That's quite true. I had to go through a little journey in finding this aspect of myself. Yeah. I don't even know how it all started. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't break it down for you. But as I said before, I knew that I wasn't this personality type. I knew that that wasn't me. I knew that I was just probably coasting through my teenage years. And then it was when I went into college that interest was sparked in me. Yeah. Yeah, but then give your parenthood. I don't think I need to hear about parenthood because I'm not a parent. Let me read the last part. Outpouring of affection may seem awkward or over the top to rational-minded logicians, but these words and actions go a long way towards helping the children feel loved and accepted and secure. I think I know the benefit of teaching your child and raising your child in nurturing and caring way. I think I believe that fully, and so I wouldn't feel awkward about training my own child. But as I say, I don't have a kid, so I don't know if I had a kid, if I would be like, hey Joel Jr., I love you. You are so special to me. You're the most important child I've ever had in my life because I only ever had one. And I love you so much. You will be an amazing kid. And you did really well in class today. You did wonderful. I don't know if I'd feel awkward about that. That's my kid. I know what positivity and truth and stuff can do for you as a kid, so I'd never feel awkward. That's madness. And career paths. For logicians, personality and ideal workday involves tackling difficult, seemingly unsolvable problems, whether that takes the form of managing a pet store or theorizing about parallel universes. All logicians really want to immerse themselves in an interesting project, and they tend to get annoyed by anything that interrupts that focus. That's me 100%. It's if you give me a new task on top of the task that I'm doing, that just going to scramble my brain. I just going to be like them people are mad. I think that you can just shut this off and then just start again. But yeah, that's why I think personality is fluid, because I think the reason for that is because you never learn to develop the organizational skills from an early age, how to structure things, how to you never took to that. It wasn't delivered to you in a reasonable way, and so you never structured and learned how to deal with change from an early age. I think that's why we tend to be so put off by change or lack of focus or disturbance in the work environment. I think that's what it has to do with. Because I think because I don't remember ever learning to be focused or caring to learn to be focused, because I never felt like needing to learn it as a kid. So yeah, that's what I have to say. So we skip to workplace habits. But this is just to give you an understanding of the website and what they talk about. It's really, really interesting, and I really would recommend it as something that you should go out and do on your own. I'll read this in my own time, and when you do the test for yourself, go through it and analyze it, assess it, see what actually is true for you, see what isn't true for you, because you get to this place because you probably click you don't know when you probably knew but you never wanted to click the fact that you knew, and it's just a test as well, so it won't be super accurate, but it gives you a basis to build on. It gives you words that help you to express how you're feeling or what you might be thinking, but you don't know how to express it. And that's the benefit of doing tests, doing studies, doing reading, because when you do these things, they give you the language of the mind, which is words. So,
oh my God, it's Albert Einstein. It's Albert Einstein.
Professional. That sounds like some Einstein.
Oh my God, it's Albert Einstein. Oh my God.
Conclusion. So let's go to the conclusion. What you have read so far is just an introduction to the many complexities of the logician personality type. Along the way, you may have muttered to yourself, wow, this is so accurate, it's a little too creepy, or finally, someone understands me. You may have even asked, how do they know more about me than the people I'm closest to? If you feel understood right now, it's because you are. Years of research have given us deep insight into the unique strengths and challenges of logicians like you. And that includes the darkest aspect, the darker aspect of your personality type, the mystery of why other people just don't seem to get you, the constant frustration at the world that seems tedious and superficial, and the nagging fear that all of your grand ideas might never amount to anything. That's quite true. Logicians' gifts include rationality, innovation, and the ability to envision a better future. But they don't just want to hear what makes them great. Logicians want to find real meaningful answers to seemingly impossible problems that haunt their imagination. Yeah. That's very true. That's why we've made it our mission to help logicians like you actually make the most of your strengths. Learning about your personality type is nothing short of fascinating, especially if you felt misunderstood and underappreciated for most of your life, as many logicians have. But there's a deeper purpose to it. So here's our question for you, logician. Are you ready to unlock the true exceptional potential? Your true exceptional potential. If so, your premium profile will give you a new insights into your personality, your relationship, your career path, and your life mission. Or your many missions since you're a logician. That's a bad joke. This is the journey of a lifetime, and you'll find everything you need to get started by moving on to the next section. And so when you move on, they give you premium tests. I think about one for personality already. Personality growth, they give you career, they give you relationships, and you can buy the full thing, which is $49. Blah blah blah. I don't think I'll go into that. Eventually going to come up to it. If I follow through on it. But yes. This is my personality type. If I click that, give me that, and then I can also look at the difference between the assertive logician and the turbulent logician. And I can do surveys. I can do surveys about traits and habits, life satisfaction, thoughts and stories. I can look at theory into all of this. So yeah, I think it's a really good website to explore. I will encourage you to do so, and to do so quickly. That way you can get a head start on your future. I know what I mean. But yeah, so this has been my personality test, and I do encourage you to do yours as well. As I say, to read and explore who you are as a person. And none of this can be done outside of God. Because at the end of the day, you won't be a perfect person. You can never be a perfect person because you have a nature that you cannot control. And so in everything that you do, you include God into it. Pray about it before you do it, because as I say, it can, based on your answers, it's based on the things that you answer, based on the fact that you answer strongly or not. So it's not like 100% true. And as I believe, your personality is based on the traumas that you go through, how you process them. So if you process them well, I don't think you will be reserved. Because for me, why I'm introverted is because I don't like to be taken advantage of. But that's everybody. Nobody likes to be taken advantage of. But I think the mindset that you have going into situations like that is important. And for me, I don't think I learned the right mindset in the beginning, and I don't think later on in life I took to the right mindset to really propel me into breaking barriers. But I think if eventually I am to accept some of those mindsets, that I wouldn't be as introverted as I am. Because as I said, at my core, I think I like people, and I think I like being around people. And yeah, so take the test, enjoy it, enjoy the results of the test, and let me know what personality type you are if you choose to share. I put it in the description, the website, so you can easily access it. Yeah. So thank you for watching this episode. I won't break this episode up. I'll just give it to you in one long video, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope that this will be eye-opening for you in terms of what you learn about yourself, and I hope that it helps you to better understand me, so that when I get into some of the topics that I get into, understand why I believe what I believe. So until next time, in the next episode, I want to discuss truth-seeking questions. I want to answer some questions. It's probably like 200 questions, so that might be like a 2-part or 3-part or 4-part episode. But yeah, that's what I want to discuss in the next video. So yeah, I don't know when that's going to be because I have to go to the dentist, and by the time you're watching this video, I already went to the dentist. So hopefully I can speak and get this video out to you next week, but if not, then expect it in 2 weeks time. So until next time, thank you for tuning in to Honest Dodo podcast show, where we discuss personality types today, and specifically my personality type. Until next time, enjoy your days and your week or weeks, and make the most of what you are given on a daily basis. React positively to the things that you're faced with, and think of how it will impact you in the future. Think about how your decisions impact your future, and yeah, learn to pray about how you feel and why you feel the way how you feel. Ask for some guidance, and some direction in your life, and yeah, trust that it will happen. We all feel the same, because life is just as strange and weird to the next person. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. This is Honest Dodo podcast show. I'm your host, Joel Ramsey, and goodbye for now.